YouTube fans, this is Zuby Masters, returning to my Let's Play Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulation. The real hires. Yes, it's just rescued from I must say, you and your twin are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hall? Your Honor. Back to hell. Hell, she can't. Hell. Missy Faye, it wasn't the only victim in this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit meeting thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticized me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Crying Chamber. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Oh Cult? I've seen quite a few things in my years on the bench, and in all that time I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in this own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to go. Not bad at that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment on the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial. It isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Try. Remember what this evil spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone. When I took out the dagger from the store man. Strange, but I happened to. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack mine, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit being that channeled Dahlia. Victim note, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This is... Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. Well, I can tell there's evidence that proves her innocent. No, wait, but this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole events and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place. The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't! She can't testify on what she's been through! We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Very well, but first we need to take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we'll proceed with the trial. Hey, Wright, I got something to say to you, so listen. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just speak fire without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always comes to dashing in the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This course is now in recess. truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root for you. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini who was like a mother to me. Only Dahlia had some with me to come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago. Yes, I would be useful in her some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away because of that. Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up... That was the case that wounded me so. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspect that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people, who must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys, Maya Fey and Diego Armando, after poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had knowingly hit the poison for you. That's right. Iris. There's one more thing I have to ask you. When, on the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, at least was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. Around 12:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But... the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. You can't just leave the body here, so you gotta do this exactly as I say, got it? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she couldn't bleed too much. Except that Elise had already held her. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to the Hazakura Temple while on the snowmobile. Why did you alter the body? You didn't want anyone to know that staff was the murder weapon. And I could lead back to Misty. Pressed her in her robe and stabbed her with the Tsushinoga. Took the blood off the staff blade and left it next to her.
Just tell me one line. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone the real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who it is. I see. Defendant. Yes, the judge is calling. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Mia. Now, how is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She recovered completely, but emotionally, she's been hurt very badly in this case. I see. You don't mean. She learned who Elise Dixon was. Yes. The medical officer talked to her. Thing I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. She knew she could take it all. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure out that answer all by yourself. The trial is about to start. The real killer, you know who it is. You wouldn't tell me who called her, but still, I think that just maybe I know who it was. Night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. The crime wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by a pimple. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means that they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost the entire time. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is in yours to win or lose. God, thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring the case to an end. When did Maya see it? Who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it, all by myself.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Yes, test on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about that. That's the weapon that Maya used when she fought with the victim. What are the results? Was it the victim's blood or due to the time a full test wasn't performed? However, one thing we can say for certain. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's reset this trial. Wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger? Whose was it? I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claim. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Faye. My profession is I'm the assistant manager at the Wright & Co. Law Office. Maya. According to the magazine, I appear you're a spirit medium of the crying channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Faye clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Faye bloodline caused must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Faye, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple, and you witnessed the moments of Miss Elise Dixon's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see.
Objection!
Straighten up this instant, young lady. Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witness come out, how you've been seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor.
I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep bed when it happened. And suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. Screamed, "Help me!" And something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the stab. Maya, the person who hit me. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I just couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I couldn't. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. Very well then. Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. You think you screamed? But you're not sure. Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared of my wits. Believe me, my dear. I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought the person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure that I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. My poor little Maya really was out for me. Last hope. Wait a minute. Maya, what's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by that? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see me and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remembered now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. Yeah, that's right. The person behind me is yelling at me. That's who I was screaming for help. What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person. And, well, I meant to keep that person. Right done. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. Pressure? You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. It's the information. I want you to add it to your testimony. Man, who is this now? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see. You used twice. Is that very bright lantern light? Did you say? There's a green, big stone lantern in the garden. It's light when it holds us there for training. Hey, you know what they say? Under the lantern, under dark. Aren't any other lights? So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Dixie, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. Killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think that she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she had noticed a huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? On the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There's no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Order, Mr. Gupta, explain this. I had the picture of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. Cup fillet? Hey, is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk that you were just spooning, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard. I'll have you know. This witness' mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like this. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? There truly was no light in the garden. There's a fatal contradiction in the witness' last bit of testimony. Nick, may I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man or woman or an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. She's quite clearly described him as a man. Words. That could mean that Maya actually saw a mysterious person, despite it being so dark she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Order. What in the world does this all mean, mister? This face saw the real killer under pitch black.
Objection!
Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There's no other light source. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Go. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover her. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I could draw. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It's with pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't! Please stop. Maya's dad set on protecting the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother, but I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Show us what you got. It's all in the dark.
Take that!
Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how it's possible, yes. What? But how can you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in the courtroom be turned off. What is the... I can't see. Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone. This is the man Maya saw the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of something. Aren't you Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my... Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? It was 3 glowing red eyes. Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought that person that stabbed my mother was in it for a totally different reason. What? witness, Mr. Wright wants to... Stop your chatter, Your Honor. Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
Alright.
Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was just lying there on the train. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Just were lit. And the body was gone. All the snow around the cemetery had been carefully cleaned up, too. The person did all that work alone, I see. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to the killer was a man. Yes, that's her. Sorry. No need to apologize, as we're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you be a little... Also, if you continued the situation, it does seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a... Then the killer cleaned up the snow. It did really look odd. Moved in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There's a lot of shovels around the intertext, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. Another fellow indeed. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow? Did you say there's a lot of victims' blood sprayed? Yeah. The area collapsed in the end means there's something that bothered me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with the blood on it. You don't need to remove that amount. That's just who to scoop the snow that was stained with blood. There's some mystery behind this. This will help me explain. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes, but earlier you very clearly stated you saw a man behind your tractor. Man, I'm sorry. Killer moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. Maybe Maya knows more than me. Torches were lit. Yes, that all changed. And since it was possible to do a cover-up in the dark, I'm sure there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go through the effort of he abandoned me? Very well, let me hear it. So the killer must have done it, right? Yes. Why would the killer tamper with the crime scene? There must have been something that the killer just wanted to hide. Truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding evidence from me for my sake. Everyone knew that I was the only one in the inner temple that night.
Sister thinking he had come back and looked at the garden. She might have thought that you had done it. She definitely would have thought so. You're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene and made it look like nothing had happened. I'm sure of it. And the important piece of it. I want you to add that. Yes, Your Honor.
Objection!
The body was carried all the way to the Hazakura Temple's court. Then all at the guard at the real scene of the crime. Snow that we suspect was covering in the blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that all this was done in the attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one and somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Goda. The message written in the blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from then why didn't they write about the written lantern? Ugh, you're right! Order, order! But, Mr. Wright, isn't the fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body, remove the bloody snow, then wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? Killer's plan is the fact that the killer left him. Prosecutor, early in this charge, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that the crime had occurred there. If that's the case, then wouldn't have left the bloody writing on purpose. Therefore, it must mean they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would have missed something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no normal person would. Trying to see. There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing on it. And who would that be?
Take that!
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I can't see everything. Can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once again, during the poisoning case at Tribulation. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. It's strange. It's a black and white photo. Those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see it? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey Gramps, didn't you know the reason why I don't drink red tea? I can't believe it's prosecuted. No going back now. I figure figure out the truth. Mr. Godot, defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Dexum, also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the bit of the red ink. Red. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like my name that's written. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the culprit. This is rich. Go on, Wright. The answer is right there as the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? You said it yourself. If he wasn't to hide the blood, no, why didn't I just take out that area? Yes, why didn't he just... that area? Oh, could it be? Yeah, the killer couldn't see the red blood that seeped into the snow, so we had to remove all of it. We couldn't be sure of what the blood had landed, so we removed the whole. Isn't it more likely the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again the trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. Maya. What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed. Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established that just a while ago. The murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya. Plan to cover for Godot no matter what. Then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence. Nicely done, Trey. Let's hear the witness's testimony. Your temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling my spirit left as. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple too. Who is this Pearl? That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye. When did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not What? Come on. She's way more honest a person than I'll ever be. You're smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We'll believe the witness. Mr. Godot, just move on to the cross-examination if the defense has no objection. It's highly unusual, but well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination. just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. It's me, I would at least go out and wait for the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the... She was so scared. There's that one girl, Dolly Pop, who was busily battling the trip lock. Let's see. Where's the entire inner triple-sided end? It gets really scared. Really examined the storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place. It's possible someone may have been hiding in that storage shack. First time. Hey, am I imagining things or did this fence happen? I heard from someone else's simply not it. Worked. Too sick. Hot nights, even hotter coffee. That's right. Cool. I think I'll. Say something trite. You cheered her up? After my cousin, thinking you were nothing more than a copycat. Cut it out. You're making me blush. There aren't that many places to look on the inner temples. I'm seriously, I'll hand down the verdict on my own. Judge style. Penis. Payneck.
Objection!
Mr. Gogat, the first time you crossed the Dusty Bridge in Wicca, long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip. The hanging scroll in the train. But Mr. Gogat is right. The scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but there's something you didn't know. Behind the bridge had been prepared 2 days after the murder. The hanging scroll in the training hall looks like this. This wonderful, delicious. The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Mr. Godat, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll, you wouldn't have seen any way of knowing that was Mr. Fang. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes. Take another look at the hanging scroll. At the top, there is a crest there. Ah, that's the mark that the master crafts. Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you can... True, but Mr. Godat described that what was underneath it. Her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the huge amount of grafted tape. Yes, it's possible that he knew
suppressed men. However,
You couldn't have known when she was wearing Japanese clothes. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding in the inner temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one thing, Trite? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on certain assumptions. That I knew beforehand that the crime was going to be committed. That's right, otherwise there's no reason for him to sneak on to the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. What did she say?
Take that!
This crime was actually planned over years. Morgan Fay authors planned for the future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the same area for a year. However, by the little time Little Pearl found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes. The killer had read these instructions long before Pearl ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place in the air. You still insist this crafty killer is me. You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. And that's right, Mr. Kotak could have known that those instructions were hidden. If you really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and during a visit. Morgan Fay told her daughter where the instructions were hidden during one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center. Yes, it would be could be arranged if you were with someone with easy access in and out there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge, and you were the only one that could acquire this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated by witchcraft. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coming. Sorry, we're always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer, or in this case, eavesdropped on the conversation during a jail visit where he learned of the hidden plans. Discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I'll have to ask this. Why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger. I've got no reason to believe it this time. But I'm certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. This killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Ever consider that the killer wanted to protect the his behavior is still a little too aggressive. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. An unshakable reason that forces you to protect this witness at all costs. You knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? I guess you were doing your best to cover for good. The same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears, let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is more than just a stranger to you. She's one person who lies at the very center of this. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. Once who worked alongside her. That's when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your honor, your piercing intelligence, you must have figured it out by the real name of this man who called himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right?
time someone called me by that name? It's over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That does ring a bell. It should, Your Honor. All that is related to a single case. Which a convict named Terry Claus killed himself. My face first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind all was a heartless, scheming demonness in disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where we were. Only time a lawyer. Moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her pure sweetheart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Me and I fought investigating that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It's been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courtroom. I just remembered 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but every little information about this case released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever called it a murder. It was just in a deep, deep coma. Let's see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. It's terrible. It was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. And one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years. You were asleep for 5 years? The worst possible news was waiting for me. Maya Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Good old me. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there's only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were those 2 reasons? First was you, Wright. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Maya Fey would never have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. You realized what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor. My other reason for living goes by the name of Maya Fey. You were the only one I can make up for the sin of not saving me. 1 year ago, when the crime village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about it. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. News at the time was drawing me. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up. That makes sense. If I'd known that the actual purpose, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day the plan was drawing near, I contacted both of my accomplices. Iris at the Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. Especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl. But
How did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What do you mean officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. You did say something. Master O'Brien has great authority. He still wields great influence. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you like it and stay tuned.